Hey, welcome to Storycrafting. I'm Matt. One of the things that I talked about on my TikTok account was what to do when you're in a creative rut. Um, I will get to the place where I just desperately want to be creative, and I got no ideas. Or worse than that, I have an idea, and as soon as I start to do anything, I'm like, oh no, this is not good enough. It's kind of it's rough. Um, But the reason I brought up my TikTok account is I had some of my followers give me some really, really good ideas. One of them was just rest, just stop for a while. Sometimes you can do an awful lot of creative things, usually project based. I don't know about you, but I will usually do a creative project. There's a definitive beginning, middle, and end. End of last year, I directed a play that I wrote called Spider, which was this crazy story about it's kind of it was a B movie on stage, and it was a ton of fun. I loved it, but I was a part of every part of the creative aspect of it, and I had an amazing time. And then it was over, and the post-show depression hit. And I call post-show depression for anything creative that you're doing for a long period of time that then ends, and there's nothing to fill your time. Um, there are some people who are able to do multiple creative things all at the same time. So when something is over, they're immediately on to the next thing. And I want to be those people, but I'm not. And I know it's difficult to do that sometimes. So one of the things you can try is just take a break, just refill creatively. Um, I find that difficult, but sometimes necessary. Go out and watch some movies, watch some TV, not to get ideas, just to relax. A lot of people go to museums. There are some people who are saying they really like to just go for a hike, really get moving, get physical. Um, Take long showers. I get lots of ideas in the shower. Sometimes just something relaxing to chill out. Um, Although I find one of the things that I do most often is just I lie down as if I'm on a fainting couch, like a 19th century woman in a corset and just fainting and going, "Why do I not have any ideas?" That's because I'm dramatic and I have issues. It doesn't help either. So give yourself a break. Um, and that is advice coming from someone who tends not to give himself breaks, and it doesn't help at all. So, relax, give yourself a break. There's a meme about writing where I consider it just the storytelling process that goes like this. You start off at the beginning going, I don't know what I'm doing. This is awful. This is terrible. Why am I even doing this? Why? And then you keep going and you get to, this is actually not too bad. This is okay. All right, we're starting to get there. And then you move into, oh my God, I'm a genius. This is so great. I'm so excited for this. This is when people see this, they're gonna like fall over. This is so good. And then the fourth part of that is, this is awful. I'm awful. Everything is awful. Why am I even bothering with this? And then you go into the next phase, which is doing that again for the revision process. The nice thing about the revision process is by the time you're done with that, 9 times out of 10, you stop at the, this is really good, if you don't quite hit the, I'm a genius again. Ira Glass talked about something called the taste gap. And this is incredibly true when you're starting out as a creative, where you have really good taste. Like the stories and the films that you follow and the art that you like and the music that you like, you have really, really good taste in material. And then you think, okay, I'm now going to create something. And usually the first thing that you create right out the gate is not that terrific because you haven't had any practice at it. And a lot of people will just give up right there. Or worse, they'll try again and realize that they are still not up to that place. And this is where they'll give up. If you continue to work, you eventually find that comparing yourself to something is a dead end. You can never compare your work or compare yourself to anything else, right? That's going to be a problem. because of the way that we think. We are always going to think that thing outside of us, um, that we enjoyed in the first place, is the superior thing. That doesn't mean that what you're doing isn't fantastic, because the thing that you're doing requires you. That's what's important. And it takes a while to get to figure out what your voice is, what you want to say, the way in which you're going to do things. So that's what that taste gap is. You know exactly the kinds of things that you want to do and the things that you want to tell or the art that you want to create, but you're not necessarily skilled at it at the beginning. And the more you work on it and the more you work on it, you can start off being really inspired by, say, Banksy, or if you're a writer, really inspired by a writer like, let's say, you're really inspired by the Joss Whedon and the way he writes and directs. And perhaps you're going to start in your first couple of things. You're going to write maybe a little bit like you think Joss Whedon writes, or you're going to create art like you think some of your favorite artists will do it. And it's not going to be up to that quality. But then the more you do it, you start to realize, okay, you're letting go of someone else's style and you're discovering your own style. That's one of the things that storycrafting does. That is the main thing that storycrafting does, is getting you to that place where you have discovered your own voice and are using that. Because once you've bridged that taste gap, that's when you can create some of the most original and unique and the self-assured work that other people are going to look at and be inspired by. So let's start. Make sure to subscribe, click that little bell up there for notifications, and tell me what you're working on. Are you working on something right now? Are you in the middle of the same issue that I've been having, which is you're stuck in that creative rut? Are there other things that you do to break out of that creative rut? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Right on.